The year is 2020. The world is grappling with the unprecedented COVID-19 pandemic. Fear is in the air. Uncertainty hangs heavy. It is in this climate of anxiety that the PM CARES Fund emerged in India. Touted as a public charitable trust, it was positioned as a beacon of hope. Its stated objective was singular and clear: to combat the COVID-19 crisis and provide relief to those affected. Donations poured in from every corner of the country and beyond. Citizens, driven by a mix of empathy and patriotism, contributed generously. The initial response was overwhelming. The fund, with its promise of aid and its association with the Prime Minister, captured the nation's imagination. However, even as the fund swelled with contributions, a disquiet began to simmer beneath the surface. Concerns were raised about transparency, or rather, the lack thereof. The fund's operations seemed shrouded in secrecy, raising more questions than answers. The PM CARES Fund, born out of a crisis, was soon to find itself at the heart of a different kind of storm. A storm of controversy fueled by a deficit of transparency and a perceived lack of accountability. This was just the beginning. Transparency, the bedrock of public trust, seemed to be missing in the PM CARES Fund's narrative. The fund, despite its public character and the source of its funding, operated largely in the shadows. Information about its functioning, its decision-making processes, and its expenditure remained elusive. The Right to Information Act, a cornerstone of India's democracy, was rendered inapplicable to the PM CARES Fund. This exemption from public scrutiny raised eyebrows and fueled suspicions. How could a fund, built with public money and meant for public good, be exempt from the very law designed to ensure transparency and accountability? The absence of clear and comprehensive disclosures exacerbated the trust deficit. The public, which had contributed so willingly, was left in the dark about how their donations were being utilized. The lack of transparency was not merely an administrative oversight. It was a fundamental flaw that struck at the heart of the fund's credibility. The shroud of secrecy surrounding the PM CARES Fund served only to deepen the disquiet and erode public trust. It was becoming increasingly clear that a fund established to address a crisis of such magnitude could not afford to operate without the sunshine of transparency. The Comptroller and Auditor General, India's apex auditing body, plays a crucial role in ensuring the accountability of public funds. However, the PM CARES Fund, despite its public character, was kept out of the CRG's purview. This decision was met with widespread criticism. The CRG, with its independence and constitutional mandate, is seen as a guardian of public finances. Exempting the PM CARES Fund from its scrutiny raised serious concerns about the government's commitment to accountability. Further fueling these concerns was the reliance on private auditing firms. While private auditors have their place, their involvement in auditing a fund of such national importance raised questions about potential conflicts of interest and the robustness of the audit process. The independence and rigor of private auditors, especially when auditing entities with significant political connections, were called into question. The absence of a CAG audit and the reliance on private auditors created a perception of opacity, further eroding public trust in the fund's management. It reinforced the impression that the government was prioritizing secrecy over accountability, a dangerous precedent in a democracy. The PM CARES Fund found itself entangled in a web of legal ambiguities right from its inception. Its legal status remained unclear, raising fundamental questions about its governance, its accountability mechanisms, and its very nature. Despite being projected as a public charitable trust, the fund exhibited characteristics that blurred the lines between public and private entities. It was neither registered under any existing law nor subject to the usual regulatory frameworks governing charitable trusts. This legal ambiguity had far-reaching implications. It created uncertainty about the fund's legal obligations, its accountability to the public, and the avenues available for redressal of grievances. The lack of clarity surrounding its legal status further fueled suspicions and undermined the fund's credibility. The PM CARES Fund's ambiguous legal identity became a point of contention. Critics argued that this ambiguity was deliberate, designed to shield the fund from public scrutiny and legal challenges. The legal conundrum surrounding the fund served as a stark reminder of the importance of clear legal frameworks in ensuring transparency and accountability, especially when dealing with public funds.